I'm Jenny. I'm excited to show you today how to make Scandinavian Krumkake. Krumkake are a light and delicate crisp cookie that is rolled around a wooden wedge. You need a Krumkake iron to make Krumkake cookies, and Nordic Ware fortunately makes a Krumkake iron. This is one of the original pieces that Nordic Ware introduced in the United States in its initial line of Scandinavian ethnic cookware and bakeware in 1946 when the company was founded. So why don't we walk through the steps of this? As I said before, Krumkakes are a very crisp cookie, and you can see that it's rolled here. So I'm going to show you how we do that. There are a couple simple utensils that you need. With your Krumkake iron that you've purchased, it will have a wooden dowel on the inside. This is the cone that you're going to form your cookies around while they're still hot. You need a pastry brush. You're going to brush the inside of your Krumkake iron lightly with oil before we use it for the first time. I like to use a butter knife. When you take the cookies right out of the iron, they're very hot because of the sugar in them, and you don't want to burn your fingertips, so I like to use a butter knife as well as the dowel to roll them around. And then you want to be very careful measuring out just the right amount of batter when you're putting the Krumkake batter into the iron. Otherwise, it's going to overflow the sides. So I like to use a cookie dropper. This happens to be a 1 tablespoon cookie dropper. And you'll figure out after the first couple just the right amount of batter, and then every single one thereafter will be perfect. So let's give this a try. We've had our Scandinavian Krumkake iron preheating over medium flame for about 5 minutes here. You'll notice that this entire pan, all 2 parts of it, both the cookie maker and then the base that it sits in, are made of nice cast aluminum. This is going to give you the intricate detail that you see on the cookie on the inside. That design gets embossed into the cookie once we pour the batter in. So now that we have it open, we're going to take this brush, and I've seasoned this with a little tiny bit of vegetable oil. We're going to just brush it lightly across the surface. You don't want to pour it on there. You just need a little bit the very first one. The reason you don't need to keep doing this to the pan is because the batter contains quite a bit of butter, and that'll just keep seasoning the pan with every successive cookie that you make. So we have it heated. I'm going to take just a scoop of our Krumkake batter, and I'm going to put it right into the center. It starts cooking right away, so you want to be careful and quickly shut it. You don't want to squeeze too hard. Just sort of let the batter work its way out. It kind of spreads out to the edges of the iron. And depending on how hot the pan is, it might take you 1 or 2 cookies until you figure out just the perfect amount of time and your desired amount of crispiness. So we're gonna let it cook, let's just say 30 seconds per side. We're gonna flip it over. This will have it continue to cook on the other side now, so you get a nice golden brown cookie on both sides. One brief word of caution as you're cooking on your Scandinavian Krumkake iron. The handle, which is part of the pan, is not insulated, so you do not want to touch this at all. Resist the temptation to touch it while you're cooking. Our Krumkake has been cooking for 30 seconds on each side, so we know it's done. We're going to open it up. This will sit nicely like that, and I'm going to take my wooden dowel and my butter knife, and I'm going to roll underneath the cookie once, and then quickly roll it across my dowel like that, and then slide it. You can either put it onto a plate, or I like to cool it first on a piece of parchment paper. You're gonna leave it there, let it cool. The sugars will harden in about 20 to 30 seconds, and then you're gonna move on to your next cookie. It actually is much easier if you have 2 people. You kind of set up a little assembly line to make Krumkake. One person making them on the stove, and the other person rolling. And it goes very quickly when you have 2 people doing it at once. I didn't have the benefit of having someone here today, so I'll just have to do this on my own. Now, on this cookie, you'll notice that there's a little bit of batter leaking out the side here. We don't want that to burn with our flame underneath there, so I'm going to quickly pick up the iron, and I'm going to use my knife to just scrape off the extra batter. We're going to put it back on the stove, let it cook for another few seconds. Another name that you might be familiar with for Krumkake is a pizzelle, and this is an Italian name for a very similar cookie. So you can also make pizzelles, and another thing you can do with a Krumkake iron is make waffle cones. Very small, delicate cones that you can fill with ice cream. So lots of different options with this pan. I think the one that we have in there is done right now, so let's take this one out. Open We're gonna roll around the cone. Oh, that one turned out perfectly. Cool it on the parchment. Only takes about 10 to 20 seconds to cool. We'll just leave it there and start the next batch. Krumkake batter will often have a bit of almond flavoring or even sometimes cardamom spice in it that gives it a nice flavor, so they don't really need to be finished off with any kind of decoration or garnish. But some people like to serve them with a little bit of fresh fruit or whipped cream or nuts, you name it, piped into the inside of it. So let's take this last one that we made here. I'm gonna slide it off of the cone. I'm gonna put a blackberry down inside of it, and we're gonna cheat today. We're gonna use a little bit of Cool Whip, and we're going to fill it up. That makes a very elegant looking dessert. Very simple. An entire plate of those would look just beautiful to serve to your friends after your next luncheon or dinner.